everyone, Orange here. Welcome to Path to Decency episode 41. Some of you guys may have noticed that this episode is a little bit delayed because it's been about a week and a half plus a couple days since I did my last episode. The reason for that was that not much happened last week. All I really did was farm Necro, and I didn't have much to talk about up until about a couple days ago. It could have just been that the week was slow, and also maybe because I kind of think the pace of the game is slowing down compared to how it's been, because I think the amount of runes that I need and the quality of them has gone way up for me to continue completing the rest of the game. If we think about some of the things that I have left to do, Dragon's B10 speed team, Necro B10 speed team, R5 speed team, continuing to climb higher in Arena and working on Guild Wars options. The rune quality for all of those things is quite high compared to what it's been to do all the things that I've done so far. So I think a combination of those things made it such a boring week, but I have a lot of stuff to talk about now. I just wanted to make an announcement that I think the episodes, I will do them whenever I feel like I have enough information to include in them. I always have a really good idea of how much I want to talk about in each episode, so don't worry if the episodes are kind of weird and spaced out. I'm playing the exact same amount I've always played. I have the same amount of crystals that I've had for a while. We are full steam ahead to continuing to complete Summoner's War, so I'm not slacking anywhere. I think it was just either the week or the pace of the game right now. That is that announcement. Let's go ahead and jump into the episode 41. I am going to split this into 3 categories. The first category is I'm just going to pretty much list off everything that I actually did last week. We have to get into Necro here because my energy is going to get full. I just did a refill and didn't get rid of it too much. First category, everything I actually did last week. Second category is going to be some sort of theoretical, futuristic sort of things. I want you guys to keep that separate in your mind because I don't really like saying what I'm going to do because it may not happen, it may not work out the way that I think it'll work out, and I may change my mind before then and want to do something else. But for the second section where I will be talking about stuff like that, I really think a lot of it is approaching, and I do plan on doing some of it. Like, I'm pretty sure it's almost certain, so I'm confident with telling you guys that. The second section is also going to include a lot of research that I've been doing, so I'll just tell you guys about that research, tell you about my thoughts. A huge portion of that will just kind of be like musings to fill you guys in on what I've been thinking about and what I think are good things for me to do and what I will be, or what I should be doing soon / in the future. The third section is going to be everything that I'm going to do next week, which is very certain that I will be doing it, so keep all that in mind as I go over these sections. So the first section is everything that happened last week. The big thing that happened was that I got C3 for the first time ever in Arena, which was pretty good, I guess. I wasn't that excited about it because I did so many refills, and I know there are tons of people out there who get C3, G1, G2 without doing many refills at all. I think I did, I don't remember how many refills it was, but I can tell you how many attacks it was. Once we get out of this Necro run, I'll show you guys the stats. I did 504 attacks that week, which is about double what I usually do. You know, whatever you gotta do to get C3, I did it. I think it was fine that I went that hard into getting C3 just to kind of see how it was, to get experience. It was fun, honestly. I did waste a lot of crystals that could have been spent better farming runes, but it wasn't that much of a, crystal sink, so I think it was fine, but I am kind of running a little bit low on crystals this month. I learned a lot though, and I think the information that I learned when I was kind of getting up there will help me as I work on holding C2 with no refills or 1 refill, hopefully no refills, and as I look to hold C3 with the same thing, and then eventually G1, etc. My offense that I used was my double Lucians. I've shown those runes before, so I'm not going to show them again. And my defense was a defense that I've been using for a while. I worked on putting Chloe in there, but I don't think she worked any better than my other one, which was, I think my defense that I used, I showed it somewhere else on that video. That video was really bad, so you guys, I probably wouldn't recommend watching that C3 Rush Hour video because I was acting weird in it. I'm a freak. Okay, let's show the stats. Here we go. So the very bottom one, best score, C3, baby, rank 860. My rank was jumping around a lot. I think if I lost 2 offenses, I would have been C2 again. I think the 860 thing, I think I would have jumped all the way, like 100 ranks due to 1 loss or whatever. Victory rate, 80%. As I move forward to work on holding C2 with no refills, I thought that would happen this week just due to my offense and how much better it is compared to my Lagmaron offense, which really relies on the other team not having will runes, and it's quite a slow clear with that one, but that doesn't really matter. I think I should have... Okay, regardless of whatever offense I'm using, okay, I thought the Lucians would work. I think it's totally doable to use a bruiser type offense during rush hour with no refills to get C2, but your defense has to be good enough. There's kind of, your offense and defense have to add up, I guess. So if we check out my C3 finish, my victory rate on offense was 80%. The amount of attacks I did at that victory rate balanced the amount of attacks I was getting hit at the defense rate, and I managed to get C3 that way. And I think the sort of balance sort of thing isn't really working out for me in C2. I really think my defense is the problem, and I'm working on fixing that. Even if that's not really the main problem, if the main problem is me doing 10 wings but losing 2 of them, like actually failing to win that match, then that's the problem. But I think, or regardless of what the bigger problem is, me fucking up my rush hour attacks or my defense sucking, if I do work on my defense, it is something that I will have to work on in the future, and it will help regardless. So I really do plan on working on my defense now, which is why I'm farming Necro, and that's pretty much the discussion that I'll get into in the second portion of the video. But that was my finish. I used my Doublelutions. That was that. There's a video out, but like I said, it's kind of a bad video, but you guys can check that out if you want. Okay, let's continue on with what I did last week. I moved a lot of runes around. I fixed up my Copper and Bulldozer a little bit to give them both 100% crit rate. So I'll show you guys. Here's my Bulldozer. We'll check out his runes real quick. I'm not going to go over all of them. Just defense, crit damage, defense. Will Blade. I knew that I could get them both to 100% crit rate, so that's what I did. Here's Copper, here are his stats. I think he got a little bit better. And I said to myself, why not? You know, I'm thinking of it right now, so let's go ahead and do it. For those of you who don't know, I use them with a Messity, so 70% crit rate actually equals 100 because of the crit rate buff, that sort of thing. I did that. I also messed around with putting Bella on Nemesis just to figure out what my Nemesis runes actually looked like at this point. I don't think I farmed Necro enough to accumulate enough good runes from Necro, but I'm working on it. And I think if I just keep farming, I will get those runes, because that's happened for all the other dungeons. I just need some more time before I can get good enough runes from Necro. I think those were really the only monsters that I looked at improving, and I've kind of been looking at my runes. I'm almost getting full, so I'll have to sell some of those. Free rune removal's coming up, but I'll talk about that when I talk about what I'm doing next week. Let's continue on with what I actually did. I let 2 12-hour EXP boosters go to waste just because I had no plans to make any more 6 stars. I really had no monsters that I planned on working on. Right now I actually do. I have a couple of ideas that I need to think about more, and those monsters will depend on if I can put good enough runes on them on free rune removal, because a lot of monsters work really well on Violent, and I'm not sure if they'll work not on Violent. A good example is my Tessarian. Sometimes he kind of fails because he's not on Violent. He is on Revenge, which is really nice and sometimes helps out a lot. But since he's not on Violent, it's hard to bring him against Theo, Huadam, Chasoon, because he can't spread that out. So I'm thinking about some other options, but I guess we'll talk about those later on in the video. I purchased level 9 of the attack building. I'm still working on that. I was able to buy a lot of upgrades, I think, because I did those 504 attacks last week. Just one more upgrade needed for level 10. I think what I'm going to do right now is buy the level 10 of the Sky Tribe totem, because I think I rely more on outspeeding people than having enough attack at this point, because I use my Bernard Doublelution AO. So these two will be the next two that I'm upgrading. I think I'm going to do the Sky Tribe first, then the Sword. After that, I'm pretty sure the Wind building and the Water building, because I use a lot of Wind and Water attackers. My two Lucians, Lagmaron, Theo, Sig. I think that might be it. Copper. Copper does scale off attack, I believe. I'm like almost 100% sure. He has some attack in there for his scaling. So those are the next ones, I believe, because everything else is useless compared to those. I purchased a $5 daily pack 1 because I was kind of low on crystals and I had the $5 to spare. I actually pulled up my iTunes history, my purchase history, and I think at this point, I have it up now actually. Let me see, I made a picture of it. Where's my calculator? The calculator's not there, but I think I added it up, and the total amount that I've spent so far is $199.98 or something, $199.98. Just to throw that out there, yeah. I think the best strategy for me to continue doing is to wait around for those packages that are on sale, because I'm pretty sure Com2uS will be putting out some of those really worth it packages around Christmas time. To name some that have been there in the past, the intermediate packages and the level up packages that just came out are a lot more worth it compared to your monthly legendary package thing. So I think the best strategy is to wait around and then drop that money when those come around. I always think the daily packs will be worth it unless they really alter the prices just because of how cheap / efficient the daily packs are. I might end up buying another one, I don't know. I'll always include that information for you guys in my YouTube About section in case you're interested. So that's there. I crafted a bunch of runes, which I haven't told you guys about. I didn't actually realize that you're supposed to craft runes from dragons and giants. They like balanced it that way or something. I had been crafting a lot of violent runes because, hey, we can craft one. Because literally anything can be violent, you don't even need speed on it, and I think that is the best set to craft. I was crafting some will runes in there just for fun, I guess, and I probably shouldn't do that though. And for giants runes, because I think the materials balance out that way, where I had a bunch of materials to craft giants runes. I crafted a bunch of despair runes because, once again, I thought literally anything can be on despair. So that's what I did. I could be wrong about that. I really haven't thought about it that much, and I haven't thought about what the most efficient rune set to craft is. So I did despair. I think I did some swift ones randomly. I did a lot of violent ones and some will ones. I'll probably have to look into that, though, to make sure I'm making the correct decision with that. I just wanted to fill you guys in. I've always been doing the highest rank, and that's that. Then, last Sunday, I finished C1 with 1 refill. I was stupid, and I did 1 refill when there were only 10 minutes left. I knew that I wouldn't be able to find enough people, and I think I needed about 10 attacks to guarantee C2. It didn't work out for me. There are some small things that I'm kind of fucking up that I need to improve on, so that kind of sucked, but once again, I really think I need to improve my defense, and I think there are things I can do immediately on free rune removal to make it have a higher success rate with the monsters that I have. I think the monsters that I have are also a really big reason that I think my defense will do better. I was just like making a boob hand sign thing. Okay, let's see, what else is there? Okay, I've been messing around with my defense. On the week that I got C3, what I did midweek, I did a ton of refills midweek, and I was actually able to get G1 midweek, and I think it did help me kind of see how high I'd be able to get, because throughout the week you don't get attacked that much, right? And then a lot of people do rush hour, so since I was able to climb so high all the way up to G1, I was very confident that during rush hour I would be able to hold C3. I knew that it would be very likely because I was able to get so high. I'd probably get attacked a little bit more and probably maybe be able to hold C3, which is what ended up happening. So last week what I did was I did the same thing, well, not the same thing, but I wanted to have a strong defense all week to see kind of where I was midweek and then get a feel for where I would end. So last week, midweek, I was mostly bordering C3. I would get kind of knocked down, get back up to C3, knocked down, get back up. And I thought with having that good of a midweek rank, I would be able to finish C2 no matter what. That wasn't the case, so that's why my victory rate is so low last week, because I was around that. It's pretty much the same as when I finished C3. I was around those higher ranks, bordering C3, C3, C2, going back and forth there. That's why the victory rate was so low. This week, I went back to the smarter option of weakening my defense during the week to maintain Conqueror. So I do have a 96.8% victory rate because I am so low ranked compared to last week when I was trying to push up higher midweek. And I think that's smart because I still have to work on upgrading the rest of my Glory Shop buildings. So I think it was fine, though. It just gave me more information last week to learn about things, how I would finish with no refills or one refill due to looking at what I was midweek without doing a ton of refills, because midweek on my C3 week, I was doing so many refills midweek, and that kind of led me to believe that I'd be okay, but I'd have to do a lot of refills, sort of. I didn't exactly know, though, but it turned out that way. Okay, I think I already went over how we finished in Guild Wars last episode, but I didn't go over it this episode, because I think the last episode was on Saturday or Sunday, so I had already talked about how we finished in Guild Wars the previous day. Last Sunday we finished G1 in Guild Wars. We started Guild Wars Rush at rank 14. People do Guild Wars Rush. I'm sure you guys know about all the most top guilds do Guild Wars Rush, and they save a bunch of swords and use them to rush and climb rank. So we were rank 14 before that started. So our buttholes got blasted all the way back to C1. We got hit by a lot of top guilds. Reethy's guild, Childish's guild, I think they're in the same guild, Epic Fail, pretty sure. They hit us, and Reethy did a video on it, and he hit my defense, and he had some good things to say about it. I was pleasantly surprised that my defense did better than I thought it would, he won both of them, but I was satisfied with what he had to say about my defense. I still need to improve a lot of things. My first defense for my real defense is Galleon, Theo, Bernard. I do need my Theo skill ups, but I am waiting until I get Amir, because if I happen to keep getting more Tessarians and Theos, I'm just going to put those on my Theo to skill him up and wait to Devilmon him. So my Theo's been sucking. I don't know, it might be a rune thing, it might be a skill up thing, maybe both, but a while ago, my Theo and my Vero used to do so well against everyone. My Vero would stomp on them first, my Theo would pop the other Theo. Most of the time he would, sometimes he wouldn't, and then I'd win from that point on. Even if they had Chasoon, the other Theo would be popped / stunned, and I would most likely win at that point. But for a while now, that hasn't been happening. Maybe it's me, maybe it's other people, I'm not sure. I'm looking at working on that because it's been sucking. I've been sucking in Guild Wars. I've been pretty low on the contribution list for my guild for a while, and I think that's because we actually do have a lot of strong members in my guild. Some guys have a lot of monster options and really good runes on their monsters, so it kind of makes sense that I'm lower, but I also think that I shouldn't be that low, and I think some people are maybe hitting easier targets. Maybe it's just me and I'm fighting people I really shouldn't. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm working on it. I think I'm doing a little bit better right now. I'm kind of around the people I think I should be around, skill-wise, or, monster / rune-wise. And since we've been finishing G1 so much, I think there are some things we can do to work on that. What we've been doing is kind of dynamically switching our defenses whenever the best time is. What's today? Thursday. Usually we would have had our defenses already switched over, but we are pretty high ranked right now because we always shoot for rank 100, but we want to be, rank 90, 80, that sort of thing. We are shooting for G2 every week, and we have our weak defenses still, and I think it'll help if we switch them over later to make them strong later so we won't be so high like rank 14 when Rush starts, and then we get our buttholes blasted all the way back to G1. We also picked up some new members, which I think is good. They looked really strong, and they were also really nice and friendly people, which is always a bonus. And a while ago, I was saying that I didn't really think that we were actually a G2 guild, but I think we are. My guild members all look really strong besides me. We have a lot of strong guys, so I'm hoping that things will keep looking up and stuff. But yeah, I've been talking about that for a while, so hopefully I can, I don't know, keep figuring it out or something. Let's continue on with the list. Okay, here's part 2. This part is pretty big. That's pretty much all I did last week. Oh, there were some things that I forgot to mention. I ruined my Hua back to Violent Revenge because I'm not doing raids. She was on Swift for raids, but I'm not raiding at all. So she's on Violent Revenge for Necro. So we'll go ahead and get into Necro because that ties into the next topic. So I re-ruined Hua. What else was there? I think I forgot something else. I really don't know. Okay, I remember what I need to talk about now, but I don't have it written down. Let me write it down. Okay, so here's the second portion of the video. This is kind of more the theoretical research I've been doing, things I'm thinking about, so keep this separate in your mind. This isn't anything that I've done, because I really like to present you guys with things that I've done. Here are the exact runes, this is how it went, that sort of thing. But this is all like, we're talking about possibilities and what I think, what I predict might happen, but who knows if it'll actually happen. I might change my mind, that sort of thing. Okay, so with that disclaimer said, we can continue on. The second portion of the video is really kind of what I've been thinking about that I need to work on next. As I've been playing Summoner's War, I always kind of try to think about what the most efficient thing to do will be next, and I've been struggling a little bit to figure out what that is, but I think I've kind of nailed it down. Like I was saying, I think it's working on my arena defense and my arena offense, but mainly my arena defense. It's been the same for a while, and I haven't actually stepped up and farmed those Necro runes, and I think what I need to do next is farm these Necro runes, put them on my monsters, and rune up a different team, and I hope that with all of that together, I will be able to finish higher in arena, and I think I actually should be higher, and I don't mean that by like, I should be higher, but here's my excuse. It's not that. I think if I just put that effort into it, like I said, I think I have the monsters. All I need to do is rune them and farm Necro runes to put those Necro runes on the monsters. I will need to spend some time in Necro to get decent runes for those. I think I will be finishing higher in arena, which is kind of where I need to be. I think if we think about benchmarks, I think I should be higher, but I just need to do this effort and put the effort in, and then that's good. What was I going to say? How do I transition this into the next thing? So with all that being said, I've been doing a lot of research over the last 2 weeks, maybe even more, about what should I do with my defense? What do I do? How do I rune them? Which monsters do I use? I don't have any really obvious defenses to build. If I had something like a bunch of Nat 5s, a lot of defenses I can't hit just because they have Nat 5s that do multiple things. If I had something like, I don't know, Water Fairy King or Chiwu, Perna, Praha, Juno, Orion, there's tons of things out there, right? If I had those obvious things, those are more obvious to me. It's just what I've seen. I know a lot of people use them, and from what I've seen, they work really well because I just can't hit them most of the time. It's either too risky or it usually doesn't end up very well. If I had those, I'd build that defense and I'd probably be good to go. But for me, I haven't really noticed any really obvious options to me because I just haven't seen a lot of those. To veteran players, they would probably be able to look at my account and say, this is exactly what you should do. It's so easy for me to figure out. But for me personally, it's not because I haven't been through the gauntlet and crafted a defense or whatever. So I've had to really go pretty far to do a lot of research, and I want to go over all the things that I've been noticing and picking up on with you guys. First, let's start with my C3 finish. So with my C3 finish, and things that I've seen over time, I know Lucians are extremely popular, same with slow shield will teams with 2 damage dealers like Amir, another wind monster. Those are really popular and they work really well. That is mostly what I've heard that most people use when you kind of get higher up in C2, C3, that sort of area, people have offenses like that. Or Katarina, I know people use Copper and Bulldozer. Mostly it's Lucians though, or a Cleave team. So with that, I am using double Lucians myself, so that gives me a lot of information. When I was up in C3, I mean, I wasn't really in, the depths of C3. I was just kind of barely up there, mostly in high C2. I was using my Lucians. They're not really that great, so I started noticing things that were good against them, and I remembered that stuff. Ever since I've started playing Summoner's War, whenever I see something, I tend to try to remember it, or I do remember it, as something just to keep on my radar that I could possibly do in the future to help me accomplish things. Since the very beginning, I was thinking forward with what's going to be my Necro team. Hey, I saw that one streamer using this team. I could possibly use that because I have those monsters. So I'm trying to do the same thing with Arena. Okay, let's talk about some things that I've been seeing. So when I was up in C3, I saw a lot of teams that actually stopped me were really well-runed Renas, and I think she's still in the meta for not G3. Even G2 she might be there, I don't know. I think she still works in G3 though. I'll talk about that. Renas were stopping me sometimes, depending on if my Megan would die. Nat 5s, of course, are really good. I noticed a lot of kind of bruiser teams, which is what I think I will need to craft. Either kind of a stall team with Renas, multiple Renas, or a bruiser sort of team. Well, sort of. Fire units are also really popular. Shield runes, which is the note that I wrote down, shield runes also seemed really powerful. Nemesis runes would get me sometimes. This past week, I hit a Verd, and I'm pretty sure he was on full Revenge. I don't know how else he could be like that. He was either on Revenge or Nemesis. I didn't really pay attention to what was going on, but I hit him with my first Lucian, he moved, and then that whole team moved, and I lost. So I've been noticing all those trends, and I've been taking that into account and thinking about what am I going to do with my defense. So I've been on Reddit. First, I guess I'll talk about another YouTuber who was nice enough to help me because he's kind of up there and he's been through the Conqueror Gauntlet. His name is Sean B Games on YouTube. He finally got G1 with one refill, which I think is so impressive that he was able to do that. He also doesn't have amazing options to work with. He does have one Lucian. I think his main offense is one Lucian and Katarina, and I think he does have some others. I think he uses Amir and Arya, so he's using a lot of really easy to obtain. Some people might not think that those are easy to obtain, but realistically, most people have a Lucian or more Lucians. Everyone's got all these Nat 5s, so I don't really want to argue about that. He is using options that are mostly easy to obtain-ish. He doesn't have great options, just kind of like me. I watched his video because he went over his offenses and his defense that he used to get G1, and then I commented, and then he helped me, and he gave me a recommendation for the team that he thinks I should use, and I think he's pretty optimistic with how far I should get with my team, which is good, because I trust him, he's been through the gauntlet. The team that he recommended that he thinks I should use is Vero, Ritesh, Veligul, Freya, and I don't exactly know how the whole team works out exactly against all of the most popular offenses, because when we think about crafting a defense, you need to build it to defend against the most popular offenses, the majority of the player base. You don't really need to worry about all those people with, Water Fairy Kings, because there aren't that many. There shouldn't be, who actually use that on offense. You really just need to defend against those double Lucians and then the Shield Will, and then maybe some others, but I think those are the most popular ones. So with my team, I started to think I do need Will on them, probably Nemesis, and then Shield was really messing me up, so I'm pretty sure Shield somewhere there, on some of those monsters. I believe for my Vero, since Nemesis is so good, I think I should be ruining him Violent Nemesis. I don't really know, I need to think about that, and I do need to continue farming more Nemesis runes because mine are really not that great. For Ritesh, I'm pretty sure he needs to be on Violent. I don't know what his offset should be. I'm pretty sure he can work on multiple offsets. Shield, Revenge, Will, I think he can work on a lot. I'll just need to figure out that offset, but I'm pretty sure Violent. Veligul, a fire monster, really good against all those wind monsters, illusions that you're seeing. Will, and then I'm pretty sure Violent for him, and then he will need a lot of HP. And then Freya, I know that you want her to die, so I think I will be wanting her to die first attack. So if Illusion hits me, I think I want her to die immediately, because she is like the ultimate Nemesis healer, because she's going to heal my team up to full. So then the second Lucian will only be, like, the second Lucian might be a little bit stronger, but he won't be able to kill me. So I think she definitely needs to die after that first Lucian, because if she doesn't, then the second Lucian will be able to kill everything else. And then I was thinking, okay, what about slow shield will teams? Then I realized the beauty of Veligul. I will have immunity against slow shield will teams, most likely second turn, which means I won't get defense broken by a Galleon second turn, because usually people run Galleon. They usually do run strippers, but I don't know. Galleon, 2 damage dealers, and a stripper or something like that. I don't know how many variations there are of that, but I'll have to figure that out. Also, having high resist on my monsters I think will be good, because the most common strippers that people recommend are strippers with 100% activation rate, but it still has to pass the resist checkpoint thing. So resist would always be good on my monsters. And then I think even then though, Freya should die after the first monster, and then my team's healed to full and the second monster won't be enough. And then hopefully my team can come back enough. I'm kind of worried that they won't be able to do enough damage, but it is more of like kind of a stall type defense. I don't really know, I'm just kind of guessing here. I still need to continue learning about the game, and I will continue my research and, of course, be smarter later on in the future. So it might just kind of be more of a thing that people don't want to hit because it's really annoying and it's going to take a while. I don't know. I think it really depends on my rune quality too, which is a concern of mine, but we will have to see how that goes. So that was Sean's recommendation, and on Reddit, I had been doing and I also watched his video and learned from that. Let's talk about his defense actually. So to get G1 with 1 refill, he used Vero, Ritesh, Ariel, Rakan. So here we see Vero again. I think his Vero was on Nemesis. I don't remember what his exact setup was, but like I said, Nemesis healers and Nemesis Veros are really strong because they can stomp on the second Lucian. Some people have their second Lucians on Will though, which is good if they can do that. Vero does provide the HP lead for Ritesh and everyone else. Then Ritesh, we have just a really good all-around bruiser / healer. The Beast Monk's AI is really bad though. They always pretty much attack before they heal, even if something is at 0 HP. They won't heal, they're going to attack first. Ariel, I believe that was his Nemesis healer. And then Rakan, once again, a fire monster, a really great bruiser. I don't know exactly how he got changed, but from watching Sean's video, his Rakan, the damage scaled off of HP, which is amazing because, once again, a really strong bruiser type monster that can really screw over all the wind types that people are using. And I think he attributed a lot of his success to Rakan, so you guys should definitely check out that video. I'll have all the links that I'm talking about in the description, so check out the description to see all those links. I've also been on Reddit. There's this one guy on Reddit. This is going to get really creepy, but I was pretty much like stalking this one guy on Reddit. I went through his Reddit post history. He goes by the name Too Lazy to Die on Reddit, and all of his posts seemed pretty intelligent. It seemed like he knew what he was talking about. He was arguing with some people, so maybe you guys are probably like, no, that guy's a douchebag, he always argues with people. But most of his other posts seemed pretty intelligent. So I went through all those. He talked a lot about like Lucians and defenses like that and different monsters, so I learned a lot from his posts. In his tag, he claims that he's G2 and G3. I don't really know if that's true, but like I said, the other stuff seemed to make a lot of sense that he was saying, so I don't really care what he finished, but it would help his, I guess, reputation or credentials if he has finished G2 and G3. He was saying that for his defense, he said that he does have some Nat 5s that he could possibly use. I think he has Vanessa and something else maybe. But he finds more success with easy to obtain monsters. Some of the ones that he mentioned were the Fire Mummy. Maybe he talked about Freya, I can't really remember. Rena and Chloe. So I don't remember what his exact team was, but once again, I just kind of remembered that and took that into account. He was also mentioning that there's a player who has gotten G3 for the past couple weeks who uses Chloe, double Rena, Freya, and that player's name is XDragonsX, I think. I don't know what server he's on. I don't check Arena that much, so I don't know if he's on Global, but if I can maybe check out his account, that'll probably help me, because I have all those monsters, right? I have Bernard, I have Double Lucians, I have Megan, Seek, whatever. I have everything that is necessary that some people have been using to actually get G3, but I just lack the runes. So with Summoner's War, you kind of got to work with what you have. Sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out what you should use, but I know I should definitely use my Double Lucians on offense, but defense has been a little bit difficult for me because nothing's really clear to me. I don't see any clear options, but other people might. So I remembered that guy and what he was using, and I do think I am going to get some. I'm going to save Renas if I happen to get one. I'll probably save 2 and skill them up, and then we'll see how they do. So this, I guess that might be all of the talk for that. I'm really thinking about, to summarize, I'm thinking about what are the offenses that people use most and how do I defend against them. That's just kind of how you do things when you're building your offenses and your defenses. Okay, now the third part of the video, we will talk about, oh wait, hold on, there's one more guy that I have to talk about. There's kind of a new YouTuber who goes by the name Shredded Puzzle. He made some really great videos. I watched both of his Double Lucian AO videos, and he went over his AO, his runes, he went over some strategy things, so I learned from that too, and he went over his defense, and what all of these guys are talking about all were cross-referenced successfully. I don't know what the word is, but they were all kind of doing like the same thing. Trends are kind of showing up, and that's a good thing because if one guy's doing something weird, okay, that works for him, but then when everyone talks about, doing the same thing and that works for everyone, then that's even better. So Shredded Puzzle was using Double Lucians on AO. I've seen a lot of people use that, like Burke uses it. Who else uses it? Claytano's mentioned some people using it. I think he showed his own Lucians that he uses to get G3, and then one of his friends' Lucians who also gets G3. So that's kind of out there, and it's always good to hear multiple people using it and having success with it. And then Shredded Puzzle's defense was Win Monkey King, Chasun, Juno, Freya. Once again, a lot of sort of common themes appearing. Win Monkey King, just like Sean's Rakan. We have a bruiser that's going to survive because of the built-in passive that the Monkey King has to reduce damage, and the HP leader with the Monkey King. Chasun, I don't really know why he used that. I believe that the rest of the team is enough to make up for Chasun to let her do her thing later on, because I don't think Chasun's a great Nemesis healer because she'll Fallen Blossoms instead of do her AoE heal, but I think the other two, that's their purpose. Juno to strip the second Lucian, hopefully, and hopefully stun it, and then Freya is like the big Nemesis healer there. So that's the defense that he used. I think he got G2, I can't quite remember, and I don't remember how many refills he did, maybe 0, I think. I don't quite know. Maybe it was only G1 with 0 refills, but I'll link both of those videos to you guys down below, so I kind of took that into account. I'm not exactly jumping on any specific thing and copying it besides the Lucians, because I don't feel confident enough to just straight up copy anyone. The Lucians are very obvious. Everyone uses them and has great success with them, but for defenses, I'm not jumping on anything and just like immediately doing it. So that's all for like the theoretical what I'm doing. I am probably going to go with Sean's defense that he recommended to me, which is Vero, Ritesh, Veladrul, Freya. I'm going to have to figure out how Freya exactly works. On free rune removal coming up here in 2 days, on Saturday, I will rune those and see what I can do. I always try to like balance it, like what's the least amount of effort I can put in and hopefully get a good outcome. I never like reach too far for things, and I don't try to push things too hard or do anything really drastic. I always kind of do things in baby steps, and I have all those monsters. I don't think it's going to be a big deal to shift runes over to them, but I'm always careful with that. I never want to make any of my monsters really bad just to make one really good. that's something that you guys will have to figure out on your own. It's kind of hard to explain, but I always try to keep some sort of a balance between things. When I did ruin my Lucians, I gave them #1 priority for everything, and then my other monsters have been okay. I don't think anything's been too terrible since I prioritized them so heavily, but they aren't exactly paying off in Guild Wars too much. They kind of are, but I don't know. It's just everything you have to think about when you re-rune things, because maybe it's not worth it because they aren't helping me anywhere else really besides Arena, but maybe I need to figure out how to use them better in Guild Wars. I don't know. If I had better runes on everything, then it wouldn't be a problem, but that's difficult because I don't have many good runes. So that's that. Now we can finally hop into the third section, which is the section of what I am most likely going to do next week. Let me see if I have notes here. Okay, I forgot to mention this kind of big portion, which is I think I'm going to maybe, okay, this is a big maybe, I might start putting runes on monsters that I know with a high probability that I'll be using on my speed teams. Earlier in the episode, I talked about how I'm going to need a dragon speed team, a necro speed team, R5 speed team, and a lot of those monsters are similar. I just pulled a water kung fu girl last week, or a week and a half ago or whatever. I'm pretty sure I will be using her for a R5 speed team, and she might even work for dragons, I don't know. But it might be worth it to stick runes on them at least, because it's mostly free to stick runes on them, so I can see how they develop over time, just to let me know when I'm getting closer to having them at the stats they need to be to do those speed runs. So that's a small thing. I just might, get ready for it because it's going to be coming up sometime in the future. Also, with Guild Wars monsters, I might try to fit some Guild Wars monsters in there, or along my path of progression, because I do have some ideas for new Guild Wars monsters that I can possibly build. I'm just going to have to see if they'll do okay on the runes that I have, because I don't have fast violent sets to pass around to everyone, fast violent tanky sets, so I'm going to have to see if they work okay. I think I talked about this, but my Tessarian isn't really doing that well because he's not on violent, so that's kind of been bad, but yeah, okay. Third section, finally, I think. Free rune removal's coming up. I'm going to work on my defense, like I said. Vero, Ritesh, Velajul, Freya, and we'll see how that goes. Plans might change, though, so always stay tuned to Path to Decency. I'm going to continue farming Necro. Hopefully I can burn all of my crystals before TOA resets. That'd be really nice, because I really think Necro's the place that I need to be just to get those will runes and nemesis runes, because I think that's the next step. That's what is going to separate, that's what really separates where I am now from the next step up, which is like C2, C3. And like I said, there might be some more monsters that I work on building, but I'm not really sure about that. And I think that's pretty much it for Path to Decency. I am going to show you guys the summons now. I actually recorded those yesterday. I'm re-recording because I didn't like the format of the video yesterday. So that's all. Oh, here we go. I think we have one more summon to do, so we'll just do that, and then we will get into the rest of the summons. So here we go. 1 mystical scroll. Let's go. And then we have way more to do. Oh my god. Oh my god. I already have that one. Ugh. I already have that one. I need an Orion or something. I'm still saving up for Orion. Well, maybe I could use 2, or maybe I could use a skill up or something. I don't know. So that's that. Here are the rest of the summons. Enjoy! 2 light and dark scrolls and 15 mysticals. Let's do the mysticals. Here we go, guys. I haven't summoned in a while because the last episode was a week and a half ago. It feels like a long time. So let's see what we can get here. Come on now. Maybe like Arena? Oh, that wasn't Arena. Isn't this so funny how I'm actually wanting things like that? I seriously am. These are all really good skill ups, though. I need to keep them. I think I've been feeding them because only recently I've realized that I needed a Arena. Okay. We're full. We gotta move some of this stuff over. I've been farming so many runes, so here are all of the Rainbow Mon that I've got. I'll show you guys. So this is how I make 6 stars. I farm runes. Check out all those Rainbow Mon, and then here we go. Check out all these Rainbow Mon. Right here. Still scrolling, and then I think there might be some more 2 stars down here. No. Yeah, so just a lot of Rainbow Mon farming runes. Let's get back into the summons. We have 2 scrolls of light and darkness. Let's get a lightning. Not on that one. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Okay, let's get a lightning. No. Not another disgusting monster. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I don't have that one. Jolton. Maybe I can build that and put him on my Guild Wars defense. That might be actually really good, I think. A lot of people use him, and he's kind of hard to deal with if you can build him well. So let's lock that baby. I got skill ups for that. Let's go ahead and do that right now. I've been saving these skill ups specifically for that one, for nothing else. My Escher's already fully skilled, so let's do all these skill ups. Let me find them. I've been missing... Okay, here we go. So we got 2, 3, 4... I think the Fire Werewolf might be fusion for JoJo's, so let me go ahead and check that they're not fusion, because I might still fuse those. I told you guys I did Devilmon. Really? Okay, I guess I'll save that. I told you guys I did Devilmon my Lucians, and that's what I had planned on doing, but I've been saving my Devilmon right now, so I don't know if I will continue to Devilmon my second Lucian or not. Okay. What do I want to do? Because I don't have that many werewolves. I don't know if I want to awaken him. Let me see if he gets a new skill. Okay, where did he go? Awaken. Okay, so he doesn't get any new skills, so we're fine with skilling this guy up. Okay. Here we go. Gotta save those Apicion priests for Arena. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess we'll just check these out afterwards, because I don't know... Wow. I think maybe Surprise Attack is the better one. Was that all I had? No, here. Okay, one more. Okay, let's check him out. Okay, so just 3 more, and we got them in the what the fuck one. Okay. I think I do need those skill ups before he's actually kind of good. That was really awesome, though. So I'm excited about that pull. Finally, I got both my werewolves wherever the other one is. Did I feed the other one? No, I didn't. He's over here. Okay. Okay, so yeah. So that's it for Path of Decency episode 41. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys later.